are two entrepreneurs. I'm Jordan Herbs,
And I am Michael Ruiz.
and we are building new lives in El Salvador. We have started Sovereignty Studios, a media and events company, bringing you stories of the bottom up Renaissance firsthand.
And today we have an excellent show for you. One of the things that we wanted to do when we arrived here in El Salvador was be a positive force in the Renaissance happening over here. And one way we thought we could do that is by creating a retreat, becoming a gateway for people to experience El Salvador and see what all the hype is about. And so today we're going to go over a retreat that we've put together.
And this is basically going to be the frequently asked questions that we've been getting. We're going to go through them all, and by the end of it, you'll know if this retreat could be for you. So let's get started.
Awesome. So, one of the questions we got asked is, why did we create this retreat in the first place, right? Why create the Build in El Salvador, the Discover El Salvador retreat? And I'll go into it. One of the reasons why is because we met so many people here exploring what the hype was about, wandering around El Zonte, Bitcoin Beach, El Tunco, all over. And they were doing it on their own. And a lot of times they were just wandering without a clear agenda, without a clear itinerary. And, that led them to, I would say, a lackluster experience of the potential that El Salvador offers. One of the, great things that I see happening here is all the like-minded people, freedom-minded people, sovereign-minded people coming here to El Salvador. And, to experience that magic firsthand, right? What you want to do is embrace or engulf yourself in that company. And so that's one of the reasons why we put this retreat together. We wanted to bring like-minded people together from all over the world, because I feel like that's where the synergy happens.
And not to say you wouldn't have a great time coming to El Salvador without an itinerary. That was our first trip. However, we did not network or meet any of these freedom-minded individuals, even Bitcoiners. We didn't really meet anyone that first trip because we didn't even know where to start. So we still had a beautiful time. We got to see great places. We got to meet great local people, local business owners, things of that nature. But we didn't get to feel that feeling that we were kind of seeing online on Twitter of all the magic happening here.
Yeah, and then we experienced it later on, right? We took 6 trips here, or at least I did. And it was through those 6 trips that we got to experience that magic. But, oh, wow, there's something amazing happening here. The people that El Salvador is attracting, these are forward thinkers. These are optimistic people. These are people with big ideas, and they're actually putting in the work to pursue them in order to create a new paradigm, a new world outside of the fiat system. And that was amazing energy to be around, something I hadn't experienced anywhere else.
Yeah, and basically there's little pockets of this stuff happening everywhere. But until you're here on the ground longer term, it's hard to get to know it. It's hard to become aware of it. You have to really be studying everyone's posts on Twitter, which is kind of hard to do when you're not here. Or it puts you in a different frame of mind.
Yeah.
So we've been here and we thought, hey, let's just condense all of this into a package so people can get all of this in just a few days instead of months and months.
Yeah, we basically wanted to simplify the process, wanted to take care of the details as well, right? Another thing is when you're traveling and you're planning logistics and, you're going through the different modes of transportation that you need to get to different places, driving on new roads, getting lost, and all of that, it can be, it can be a big burden, right? It can be a big stress. And so what we want to do is alleviate that stress for people, make the whole process simple. We take care of all the essentials. We take care of the details. All you have to do is show up and we'll take care of the rest. We'll show you a great time. We'll put you around great company, and we'll take you to all the destinations in which you would want to visit if you were taking a trip on your own. But we just take care of the logistics.
Yeah, I see there's 2 ways of looking at that, because you could come here with an itinerary, you come here without. With an itinerary, you got to do planning, you have to do a lot of research. And if you've never really been here, and for example, all you know is what you've seen online, then who knows what kind of experience you're going to make for yourself somewhat blindly. But when you come without an itinerary, you're burdened with all the stress. Okay, where are we going to stay tomorrow or next week? What are we going to do? Remember the first time we came, it was like, we would drive all the way to a new destination and just realize we don't want to stay here. And we go all the way back to where we were the night before because we had liked it, which is fine. It's part of the adventure. But if you're here with the specific mission of checking it out, what's El Salvador type all about? Do I want to potentially live here? Then boom, get rid of all that other stress, those burdens, and just come to the Build in El Salvador Kickstart retreat.
Yeah, and another thing that Jordan and I we talked about, we talk about all the time actually, is that we want to be a positive force in the Renaissance here. We have a specific worldview, one that consists of a lot of values that are outside the Fiat paradigm, and so we want to attract our tribe too. And so that's another reason for creating this retreat, right? We want to become a gateway for people who resonate with our worldview, people who resonate with our mission, to come interact with us, potentially even collaborate and see what magic occurs while they're here, see what partnerships form. And so, yeah, part of the reason behind this as well is to find our people, to bring them here to El Salvador, because we feel like this place is fertile ground for innovation and prosperity. And so, the right people here with the right attitude can really do a lot.
We want to be supportive of that mission because the right people are being attracted to this place anyway. But once again, where do you start? How do you get started? Where do you go? Where do you land in? Like what's showing up on Google when you search for landing in El Salvador or hotel in El Salvador? How do you find these experiences? It can be tricky. So that's what this whole retreat is for.
Jordan, so here's the second question. What can I expect to learn on the Build in El Salvador Kickstart retreat?
Right. So as we're saying, learning things in a new place is hard. It's tricky. It takes time to get adjusted. It takes time to find your footing. It takes time to get settled, even if it's just for a week vacation. It takes time. It takes money. It takes energy. It can be draining. And when we're talking about building a professional network, because you have bigger ambitions here, which may not be for everybody interested in this retreat, but it could very well be for a good percentage of people. You need to have connections. You can't force this kind of thing. Networking is a very organic activity over time, and we're making a networking retreat just for that purpose. So whereas normally you'd have to come to El Salvador and kind of scavenger hunt for information, this is like, no, we're gonna make the scavenger hunt come to you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's basically 6 months of our connections, the people we've met on the ground, the relationships we've established. We're all gonna bring them into this retreat for a Saturday night soiree, right? Sunset Soirée, drinks, good vibes, good music, entertainment, and it's gonna provide the right atmosphere for conversations to flourish.
We're developing these workshops focused on introducing you to the landscape here, so you can hear from the horse's mouth what's going on. You can get an idea of the trajectory of what's going on here. We're making a workbook for you to take your own notes, keep it with you. We're gonna have speakers from a lot of these same guests that'll be at the soiree. They're gonna be hosting some of these workshops. They're gonna be speaking. You'll have a chance to talk to them, ask questions, including real estate developers and advisors to the president. Let's not.
Yeah, well,
that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Max Kaiser and Stacey Herbert are coming, ladies and gentlemen.
So yeah, that's big news that we found out yesterday. So they'll be there, and you'll be able to have conversations with them. They're gonna do a Q&A, and so it doesn't get more, I guess, authoritative than that, right? Presidential advisors to Bukele, right, coming to our Build in El Salvador retreat, and you get to speak personally with them and get all your questions answered.
Yeah, and I would say from them, you will hear a very optimistic and positive idea of the trajectory over the next 4, 5, 10, 20, 50 years in El Salvador. And it's really cool to hear it. I mean, obviously, they're great entertainers, they're characters, they're cool. So it's fun to just hear them talk anyway, but it's super inspiring. I mean, when they talked at the having party and I made that clip of it, I was like crying, I was laughing, I was like cringy, I was inspired. It was like a whole synesthesia of emotions listening to Max Kaiser talk. And it's a really cool experience. And when you're here in El Salvador actually experiencing all that stuff at the same time, it's really powerful.
Yeah, yeah. I've never heard of that word. What is it?
Synesthesia. It's
Synesthesia.
like where all the emotions and feelings and sensory experiences are happening at the same time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They bring the energy. That's for sure.
Yeah. And so the next question we have, what do we mean, Michael, by gaining clarity on El Salvador?
Well, gaining clarity. What I'm just going to speak for myself, right? For me, when I've El Salvador got put on my radar when they adopted Bitcoin as legal tender in 2021, and immediately I thought, wow, this is amazing. What's this all going to be about? Is El Salvador going to be a place where a new renaissance emerges? Like I could just imagine them adopting Bitcoin and the prosperity that goes just along with that, right? And so I always started thinking right away, is this a potential place that I could establish myself in? Is this a potential place where I could, see a future? And so I had all this curious, I had all these curious questions. I wanted to know if the hype was for real, especially as it progressed into 2021, 2022, 2023, until here we are, 2024. And all the, you know, advancements that have taken place. I was wondering, okay, is this for real? Is this just good marketing? What's really going on here? And I could imagine a lot of people have those questions as well. And so, it wasn't until I took the initial trip here, that I started getting clarity on these questions. It took me, 2 or 3 trips to finally say, okay, no, I need to be here. I need a presence here. Right. But through those trips, I gained clarity. And that's what we want to provide for our guests, right? We want to give them the experience that took us 6 months, 3 to 6 months to attain, and just in a short weekend. So they get all their questions answered. So they're not, part of the whole deal is wandering too, right? Let's like be honest too, right? You know, but for the most part, we wanted to give them a trip of a lifetime that gets all their questions answered as well. And then also points them in the right direction if they ever want to come back.
I remember the first trip, the big thing for us was realizing and seeing firsthand that the big story here is not Bitcoin.
It was a big surprise.
Yeah, it's security. It's the fact that people can go outside after dark again for the first time in like 30 or 40 years. It's that business owners aren't being extorted by the gangs. It's stuff I can't even really fathom, like living in. And then you come here and everyone's just so excited because they can actually live their lives again. And that to me was the big story. That's what was really going on here. And then now we keep coming back. We're here living here now. And then we start to see all the other things happening thanks to the security that the people experience now. And so, yes, Bitcoin's a part of that, but the things being built thanks to the inspiration Bitcoin brings us is also happening here.
Now, we wouldn't have had this question answered if it wasn't for the curiosity in the first place, right? And that was the big reveal for us. It was like, oh wow, Bitcoin isn't a story, right? So it's that we want to, provide for people. It's that clarity of what's really going on here, what's all the hype about, what's the actual story, and so they can experience it firsthand from not only us but all the people that we bring in from our network as well, right? They get to talk to all types of people and ask them questions and actually, put the pieces of the puzzle together themselves.
Yeah, Bitcoin is definitely a signal being emitted here.
Yeah.
That's people are tuning into and wanting to come here for that. But the story is much greater.
And another reason that they have these questions as well, this curiosity about El Salvador, right, is because they see the direction that the Western world is going in, right? They see the troubles, they see the storm clouds on the horizon, and they're like, man, I don't know if I should stay here. I don't know if I should go. I don't know, where do I even start? Is there another country that's right for me? People have these questions. We know it because we hear it every day. And so if that's you, this trip is meant for you, right? It's going to give you the clarity that you need, at least to answer those questions. Put that curiosity aside and have some clarity to move forward on whatever it is that you want to do.
Not to mention, El Salvador is a small country, but it's very diverse. So you're going to have a chance to experience some of the different microclimates. For example, it's super hot at the beach, it's cool and almost chilly at the lake. And then San Salvador is a fairly high elevation itself. Very different vibes all over the place. And there will definitely be more for you to experience in a future time. But this alone will give you an idea of the lay of the land, to see like, oh wow, like here's the general idea of what to expect if I want to start considering a move here.
Yeah.
And
So, for instance, Jordan, tell me your experience with the beach, right? And you found out, even though you're a beach person, beach is way for too hot for you to
I
live.
am 100% a beach person. You know, I never thought I'd move away from the beach once I moved to Hawaii, but here it's just oppressively hot. Like I'm not going to get any work done. It's just, not to mention I mean, even you can't even be at the beach all day. It's too hot. You know, maybe in the morning and later afternoon, but you can't even spend the day at the beach. And here, where we finally chose after exploring many different areas, it's closer to a nice school for my kids, but the air is fresh. Even all our friends that come up here from the beach, they're like, "Oh wow, the air is so nice here. Like you can breathe."
Yeah. So, Jordan speaking for himself, I think that I could manage at the beach. I actually
Yeah.
have spent plenty of time at the beach and got a lot of work done. But it's all about personal preferences, and that's part of the clarity that you're going to gain, right? Is finding out, okay, how does this work in relation to my personal preferences, right? Is the beach right for me? Is a mountain town right for me? You know, how different are the climates in different regions? And so you start to get those questions answered.
Exactly.
Yeah. And yeah, so what other questions should we answer
Yeah.
here, Jordan?
Next, we have what's the vibe you can expect at the Build in El Salvador Kickstart retreat? And so, the first thing we want to say is that everyone coming to this retreat is personally vetted by us. If you go to the page to check out the retreat, you don't just check out and fill out a form. Like, we want to meet you in a call. We want to get to know you a little bit. We want to make sure that like you'll be a good contribution to the energy of the retreat. So that's the first thing is that we want to have a retreat full of like-minded individuals, people that will get along with one another, people interested in having a good time. And so we have a screening process to ensure the highest quality experience. That's the first thing to address with the vibe. The second is this will be a good time, but it's not a big party. This is like a non-vacation vacation. So it's going to be relaxing, but it's going to be productive. All these workshops, all these excursions, that you can come here with a mission. You can know you can take, 4 days off from your life back home and get relaxed from it. But you're not going to be wasting any time like I would feel if I just went to a beach resort drinking beer at the beach all day. Like that's a vacation that for me, I personally don't prefer because I'd rather get stuff done. But if you can do both, that's great.
Yeah, one of the things that I realized from my extensive travel is that, man, it's always good to feel productive and travel at the same time, right? It's like satisfies multiple itches that you got, right? And so that's what we wanted to create here. There's going to be plenty of time for leisure, relaxation, um, but there's also going to be plenty of opportunity to be productive, to network, to even get stuff done here. You know, if you want to make moves, some of our network will already be able to start providing you with legal paperwork in order for you to get your tax ID, for instance, which is necessary for almost everything over here. And so, yeah, it can be a productive vacation. That's kind of the way we planned it. And then on top of that, you're just gonna have a lot of fun, dinners, excursions, stuff like that. And you know what? Also, if you don't feel like participating in some of this stuff, we've made everything optional. You can hang back at the mansion and just chill by the pool and wait for us to get back. And so it's really, a preference thing, what you want to do. We've provided the structure. You just choose.
Yeah, that was our next question. Do I have to participate in everything? The last thing I want to say about the vibe is that, we're not trying to break our routine as human beings trying to optimize their potential, right? So we're having workouts in the morning. There will be time for personal time to do what you need to do, your journaling, writing, but we're going to have a healthy food selection. We're going to have a private chef. So the idea here is that you're not going to like completely shatter your well-being routine by coming on this
Oh yeah,
4 day
that's a
trip.
big deal, and that's a big deal for me when I go on vacation. Right? It's like, man, like I'm having fun, but I feel so out of whack because I'm eating different things. I'm drinking more than I usually do. There's no time for me to get my routine in that makes me feel, balanced and optimized to conquer the day. And so, no, we've designed this retreat where people still can maintain their routine, still can maintain their well being, and have a great time at the same time too.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So next up, what kind of networking can I expect at this retreat?
Well, we've already covered a lot of that.
Yeah, we have. We have.
Do you want to go over that?
Well, I would just say especially at this Sunset Soirée, but also during the actual retreat, you're going to meet entrepreneurs building on the ground here in El Salvador. A lot of them either directly with Bitcoin or people that just use Bitcoin and they're Bitcoiners starting a business in El Salvador. We're going to meet Bitcoiners that are actually working on creating circular economies, educating others about Bitcoin, which is a really important story here as well. People, a lot of people think, oh, it's Bitcoin country. No, very, 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 very small percentage of the population knows about Bitcoin, understands Bitcoin. So that is a mission taken on by many individuals here. We'll connect with them. Freedom-minded individuals. A big part of why our producer Matt came to El Salvador is because he wanted to be around people that he felt a community spirit, community alignment with. And that is another aspect of this. Michael mentioned it earlier that we're trying to build a tribe. We're trying to build our community, and this is a great hub to meet people. But where you live, for example, how many people think like you? The world is a weird and fragmented place right now. So this is an opportunity to just connect with other people that are freedom-minded, they're independent thinkers and doers.
Yeah. And it's a great energy to be around. It's a breath of fresh air. It's one of the things that I was absolutely, pulled by, right? There's a magnetic force there when you're around positive, optimistic doers who, who have decided to distance themselves from clown world and focus on building a better world, a better future, a brighter future. And so it's like, it's an amazing energy to be around.
So tell us about this Sunset Soirée. What's it all about, Michael?
Well, yes, it's a beautiful. First of all, it's a beautiful mansion, right? And it's how would you describe it, Jordan? You described it better the other day.
Oh,
It's
what did I say? It almost feels like you're in traditional tropical Latin America, old money, Pablo Escobar feel. It's like it's got really cool statues. It's luxurious in a more traditional feel. That's the best way I can explain it. You can look at the pictures for more, but it feels really co. uh, Do I say cozy? Yeah, it does kind of feel cozy
it feels cozy.
for a beach mansion. It feels cozy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's an absolutely stunning mansion on the cliffs with just epic scenery all around it, and the sunsets over there are just incredible. Like the pink and purple skies. It's just it's like Pacific vibes all the way, and so we decided, hey, why not have a little party here, a little soiree, sunset soiree, where we're gonna have entertainment. We haven't confirmed it yet, but we want to have what flamethrowers or fire
Mhm.
twirlers and violinists and so forth. So setting the mood, setting the vibe, very classy, and drinks, dinner, speakers. This is where people can rub elbows with our network, right? In an amazing setting and have beautiful conversations. Um,
Not to mention, this is more or less going to be the Sovereignty Studios soft launch party, making our big announcement that we're here. This is what we're doing. These are the people we're trying to spend time with and bring around. So it's, kind of a big deal for us as well. We're inviting our network, our inner circle, the who's who of people we know. And like Michael said, it's a chance to mingle, make friends, make contacts, rub elbows. And Max and Stacy are going to be the headliners.
yeah,
So, it's going to be a good time.
yeah. It's gonna be. I'm super stoked. I mean, I don't know what to expect. I don't want to put any expectations too high, but I have a feeling it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're so confident about that just because when you bring these kinds of people together, it's always awesome,
Yeah.
regardless of pretty much almost all other factors.
Yeah. So yeah, the Sunset Soiree is gonna be magical, and then on top of that, right, we're gonna have professional photographers on hand that are going to capture Instagram worthy photos. That are just going to that alone, that photo package that guests are gonna get could be worth the trip in itself. Like it's really gonna be amazing with these just epic backdrops. And so yeah, that's gonna happen throughout the trip, not just a Sunset Soiree. So
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I want to skip the next question, come back to it,
okay.
and then jump to the excursion. So, what are the excursions all about? We've chosen 3 destinations. I mean, it's a 4-day trip, so we couldn't do many more than 3 if we tried. The first one we're going to go to is nearby. It's Bitcoin Beach, El Zonte. And that is the home of the first circular Bitcoin economy in the world, right? It was the first place in the world to have a Bitcoin circular economy. Anywhere you go there, you can pay with Bitcoin. Spend your sats using Lightning Network anywhere. I've already spoken to people interested in coming to the retreat. They've never even used Lightning Network. I hardly ever used it before I came here. So it's kind of cool to see how that works. There's a Lightning Network ATM. You can put some cash in and get some sats to spend. And that's just a cool experience. Lightning Network is way faster than a credit card. And so it's always just fun at anywhere in Bitcoin Beach. It's a cool laid back beach town. The break is cool. The tide gets really high, but it's a great place for surfing. My kids love it there. It's a beautiful volcanic rock beach, and all the restaurants and hotels, are right on the beach side there. Anything else, El Zante, we should mention?
No, it's listen, it's where it all started, right? The
Yeah.
Bitcoin circular economy. So it's
Yeah.
something that you got to see. And so we made sure to include it in our package.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, I feel like, probably most Bitcoiners, when they think of El Salvador, they think of Bitcoin Beach, right?
Yeah.
In the beginning. The next place we're going to go is the San Salvador Historic Center. So we're going to try to see the new National Palace. We hear that the line's really long, and so we're going to figure out the details there. It just opened up like last week. So details to come. We're going to see the library, the BINEAES. I forget what that stands for, but it's the new National Library. It's beautiful. It's a cool experience. All of the historic center, they're remodeling and kind of creating a tourism district, like that old town feel. And it's a good example of the economic development happening in El Salvador. And I know President Bukele is really proud of it, as he should be. So we're going to go check that out because it's just a good representation of the growth here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on top of that, it's just, it's something you have to see, right? It's like a historic city center. It's here in San Salvador. It's where the president got inaugurated,
Right.
And the architecture, the backdrops, I mean, I really appreciate it. I like it. And so, again, plenty of photo opportunities as well.
That will be our only time in the city that afternoon. And it will also be a great experience to experience the San Salvador traffic, to really familiarize yourself with how traffic patterns work here. So I'll save that as a surprise for when we go. And then finally, on Sunday, we're going to go to Lago Coatepeque. So this is a lake inside a dormant volcano crater. It's dormant, right?
So I think the Santa Ana volcano is the one that's not dormant.
Not dormant. Yeah, that's the hike.
Yeah, but the lake I think is dormant.
I mean, there's a whole town around it. So I would assume that it's pretty secure because everything, there's, jet skis, there's ferries, which we'll do.
Yeah.
We'll have lunch on a lakeside restaurant. Last time we were there on Sunday, there were bands playing. We're dancing cumbia and stuff. And it's really fun. The weather is cooler. It's a completely different vibe than the city, than El Zante, than the coast. And no one takes Bitcoin there.
Yeah.
So another good example of how different things can be.
And the cool thing about going to that lake too, right? It's like the travel there is going to give you a good idea of the lay of the land a little bit. It's a 2-hour drive. So, you get to see different parts of El Salvador,
Exactly. And once again, everything's optional.
Yeah.
So you're free to opt out. You don't have to. I mean, this is going to be the day after our soiree. And we didn't mention, after the soiree, there will be a night out at El Tunco. We're going to go to the beach club. We're going to see the nightlife.
Yep.
I mean, Michael will probably leave that one. I'll probably stay home. But it could be a long night. And so if you don't want to go to the lake the next day in the 2-hour car ride, that's totally okay.
That's right. You can hang out at the mansion or go Bitcoin Beach or wherever,
Yeah, you are free to do whatever you want. All right, the next question is, what do I need to bring?
You want me to take this?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. So what do you need to bring? So number one, bring a good attitude and enthusiasm, right? It's going to be a magical time. Leave your troubles and worries behind and just enjoy the sights and scenes of El Salvador, the good company, the fresh fruit. It's really going to be amazing. So yeah, good attitude, some enthusiasm, a little bit of spending money. We got all the essentials covered. So you could come and just get off the plane and have a great trip because we got everything covered, all the essentials. But, if you want to incidentals, if you want to spend some money on souvenirs, if you want to, extra drink or something like that, yeah, bring a little bit of spending money. And then whatever you need to be comfortable, your personal preferences. just bring that along with you as well. You got anything to add to that, Jordan?
No, not really. I think most of us know like what we need for our, I mean, bring your toiletries.
Yes.
Bring your toothbrush. Um, I don't know. I traveled for a long time, so it's kind of ingrained in my head, like the personal things I need that I know I won't find in an Airbnb or a hotel, something
Sure.
like that. So keep that in mind. If you haven't traveled in a long time, think about what's involved in your daily routine that might not be there. So, but as far as consuming and staying alive and transporting yourself, you will eat, you will drink, you will see the sights, you will get to and from the airport, and it's going to be a great time. And that's all included with the retreat price, which is our next question. What's included? All transportation, airport, to and from, excursions, meals. And then if you want anything outside of that, for example, on the excursions, that's on you.
Yeah. And there's a bunch of stuff in between as well. You can go to the website and check it out. It's be too much to mention here, but like we're gonna have, somebody there doing workouts in the morning. We're gonna have fresh fruit and coffee in the morning. These are little things that are included, but check out the website for more details as far as like everything that we've thought of to add into this package.
Yes. And our final question, unless we think of more, is how many people are going to be there?
Yes. So this is our first retreat. We want to keep it small and intimate, 15, 20 people max. And yeah, we want to give people a chance to know each other and have plenty of room for conversations, and we want to give people space too. On the mansion itself, there's plenty of room to find little areas of seclusion if you want to just be by yourself, or if you want to mingle, there's a common area where, we're going to have things set up where it's just basically going to be the watering hole. Naturally people are going to gravitate there to have conversations. So it all depends on your mood and what you want to do, but we're going to provide the atmosphere for you to satisfy yourself in that way.
Yes. And another reason we want to keep it small and intimate, I know retreats I've done, I've made long time friends. Just because there was opportunity and space to get to know someone.
Yeah.
So we want to keep that open as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then for the soiree though, there will be more people we invite. So that will be much
Yeah.
bigger.
So part of the soiree, and I don't know if we mentioned this before, but yeah, it's to introduce, the people who are coming to the retreat to our network. And so we're going to be inviting people outside from the retreat, people here who are here in El Salvador, our network, to the soiree as well. And so, yeah, that's going to be about 55 people, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that covers everything.
Yeah, man. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's fun to put it all together. I've never put together a retreat before. Uh, there's all these details that come up. It's fun seeing what magic lies around the next bend.
Mhm.
Before yesterday, we didn't know we would have such special guests like Max and Stacy. Before a week ago, we didn't know we'd be at a mansion. Less than a week ago, right? We were
Mhm.
going to the villas on the beach thinking it was going to be there.
Mhm.
So it keeps evolving, it keeps growing, and it's fun.
Yeah, I mean, I really like it. I really like this project. I hope this one, you know, I know this one is going to be a success. But, in terms of dollars and cents, I hope that we can repeat this because it's been tons of fun just to put this all together. And I am sure at the retreat itself, the people that we're going to meet, the experiences that we're going to have, I would love to be able to repeat this on a consistent basis throughout the year.
Yeah, and just from like an entrepreneurial perspective, it's really affirming and it feels good to me to know that people are excited about this.
Hmm.
People want to come. It's actually helping solve a problem that people know they have, or maybe they don't know they have, and we introduce it, and it's like clear that, oh yeah, I have that problem. I don't know what to do if I go to El Salvador. And the people we've already spoken with in calls, they all kind of say the same thing. Like it's on my radar, but I just haven't had a reason to
Yeah.
plan the trip. Haven't had a reason, but I see this. Perfect. Let's go.
Yeah, we want to give people a reason. We want people to feel very confident and comfortable with that reason, right? It's like we want to provide the whole platform for them to just come here, satisfy that curiosity, get the clarity they need, scratch that itch, and have an amazing time while doing it.
Yeah, yeah. And as we've said, everyone's different. Everyone's got different preferences. Come check it out. See what El Salvador is like and figure out your next move from there. And we'll be there in the beginning to support you. This retreat will be a great landing pad. And yeah,
Yeah, I think that covers it.
All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon. If you're interested in learning more, check out sovereigntystudios.com/retreat. And you can check it all out, see all the details, see all the photos, and book a call with us to reserve your spot.
Yeah, looking forward to meeting you guys here on the ground. Have a great day, everyone.
See ya.